Hello and welcome to the Intel Brief. Today is Wednesday, the 22nd of April. I'm your host Daniel, and today we're going to talk about Nigeria has charged 6 people over an alleged overthrow of the government. Trump has extended the ceasefire with Iran for negotiations, and the US is in talk with the DRC to send Afghan refugees there. So firstly, Nigeria's government has filed charges against 6 former security officials, accusing them of plotting to overthrow the president, according to court documents released on Tuesday. The alleged plot comes amid a surge of coups and attempted coups in West and Central Africa, with the latest taking place in Benin and Guinea-Bissau in late last year. Those accused include a retired Major General and a serving police inspector who face charges of terrorism and treason, according to the charge sheet. A 7th suspect, according to the government, is currently accused by prosecutors of helping to conceal the plot and is still at large. Authorities and the suspects conspired with one another to levy war against the state to overthrow the President of the Federal Republic, according to the court documents. So what? It appears pretty lucky that they didn't succeed in their plot, and likely shows Nigeria has pretty robust systems and strong institutions to counter this type of operation. It was likely an attempt to follow other nations in the region, as kind of talked about in there. We've seen this happen numerous times across West and Central Africa in recent years, with some still staying pretty strong within their countries. Currently, there's been no reports or signs of outside influence, but it is still possible. In other countries we've seen in Central and West Africa, there's been signs of Russian intelligence support, Russian mercenary support, and other foreign intelligence agencies getting involved. So it's possible that they were there trying to back it, but it hasn't come out. Next, President Donald Trump says he's extending the ceasefire with Iran. In a post on Truth Social, Trump said that the truce will remain in place until Iran submits a proposal and talks are concluded. He said the decision was made at the request of Pakistan to give Iranian leaders time to agree on what had been called a unified proposal. Trump added that he directed our military to continue the blockade and all other aspects remain ready and able, and will therefore extend the ceasefire until such time as their proposal is submitted and discussions are concluded one way or another. The president made the move even as the White House has put on hold Vice President J.D. Vance's expected trip to Islamabad for a second round of talks with Tehran, at least for the time being. So what? To me, this is unsurprising. Trump really wants this peace to work. This war hasn't gone how they wanted. It hasn't gone well at all, to be completely honest. And it seems highly likely that Trump wants this ceasefire to work, but he also wants it to work on his terms. However, I don't know if military force, in the way he is currently doing it, is going to achieve that. His one path to victory at the moment is closing the oil coming out of Iran until such time as Iran has to turn off the pumps, which could lead to them never being able to start them again and would cause significant problems for the oil coming out of the country. It also seems likely that the US has lost significant negotiating power in these negotiations, as Iran has made it clear what they want and how they're going to achieve it, and the US hasn't really achieved what it wanted through military means and is now trying to achieve it through negotiation, which is highly unlikely. And if they want long-term peace, it's possible that they need to make concessions that will likely hurt Trump domestically, which is something he almost certainly doesn't want to do. And lastly, the US military is in talk to send a group of Afghans currently residing at a former US military base in Qatar to the DRC. Afghan AVAC, a group seeking to help these former allies, said on Tuesday. The Afghans were relocated to Qatar after the US-led international forces withdrew from Afghanistan in 2021, as they had provided assistance to the US military. Some 1,100 Afghans, and around 400 of them being children, are staying at the base in Qatar. The group includes interpreters who worked for the US military, Afghan military commandos, and family members of US soldiers, according to the New York Times. So what? I mean, this seems pretty rough. You work for the US only to be left behind and then sent to the DRC, a country you're not from, climate you're not used to, and conditions you're completely foreign to. Also, the DRC isn't exactly the safest place on Earth. I think it's possible that this could be used in information operations against the US in future conflicts. There's been a troubling pattern recently of the US abandoning their allies at times of need, such as what happened to the Kurds in Syria, what they're currently doing to NATO, and then stuff like this. And it almost certainly gives ammunition for information operations and future conflicts where the US wants to partner with local forces, basically saying that, the US will just use you, abuse you, and leave you behind when they no longer need you. And all in all, it just feels a bit shit. You've left them in Qatar for 5 years now, and now you're trying to send them to the DRC, which is essentially not a great place to live. Anyway, that's been your Intel Brief. I've been your host, Daniel, and I'll see you again tomorrow. See you!